Hi Sagittarius, here's a general look at your solar chart for November 2016, and with the Sun in the sign before yours, it's a sort of quietish first half of the month, although you do have Venus in your sign, which is always a good thing. But the big banner across the sky, of course, is that Jupiter, your ruling planet, has moved into a new sign, which now puts Jupiter into a very opportunistic and positive angle to your Sun sign. I'll come more onto that later. So until the 22nd, before the Sun actually comes into your sign, the solar energies are pulling you inwards. So being more self-reflective, feeling that certain issues might be a little bit up in the air, because, you know, feeling that the jury's out a little bit on certain things, and feeling that more stuff is going on in the background of your life, or indeed in this area of life which is the production area before the finished article is revealed, sort of thing. It's the incubating area. So this is a time for you to do nurturing activities. If there's any health issues around for yourself or another, then this is a good time to see to those. And it's also a good time to put your own desires and preferences on the one side and just be there as a support. However, you're holding a vision of how you want something to be as well. Okay, so and then from the 13th, Mercury moves out of that area and comes into your sign, and that then puts you almost like the focus, it gets clearer on the outside life, what's going on in the outside life. However, there's still a part of you that's very inward and feeling quite private, and you need to get seclusion as much as you want. But Mercury comes into your sign, so there's lots going on around you, and it can be a little bit of an irritation, maybe. More to get your head around, more to use the rational brain on, and there could be more paperwork and thinking processes accelerate. There could be this feeling of fragmentation though, so be careful about that. However, you could be meeting and greeting and, you know, picking up little nuggets of information, which is good. The 23rd to the 25th, Mercury and Saturn come together by degrees, so mental pressure there, possibly thinking more seriously about things related to contacts, communications, mental and physical, vehicles, travel, transport, schedules, that kind of thing could present challenges, or maybe it's something completely else. Now, having said that, at the same time as that's going on, running parallel with it, you've got, well, we'll all have, for the last 10 days of the month, Jupiter very, very near the degree of Saturn. And so that can mean that you, even though you've got to maintain the focus, you've got to be consistent, you've got to keep your eye on the ball, this will open things up to you. And your horizons will be widened, whether that's mentally or physically. And an important piece of advice or teacher or teaching could be coming to you, also others being interested in what you have to say, which is a teaching or a guidance for them as well. That's also possible with this one here. Now, until the 12th, Venus is in your sign, and that's lovely because that means you feel just that bit better in your skin. You're maybe getting what you need from the environment around you. It brings out that a more sociable mood, but Venus will be in your sign during the time as the Sun and Mercury are in this very much behind the scenes. So maybe you are socializing with people that can facilitate you in those nurturing, healing, preparing something behind the scenes kind of a way. And also you might have to sort of, you know, do the be in certain social situations that really, given the choice, you wouldn't prefer to be in, but you have to mix and mingle, and you can do this quite successfully, connecting with those that are important to you, but with quite a bit going on inside of you up until the 12th. And maybe being a bit self-indulgent there as well. In fact, goodies coming towards you very likely. And then from the 12th, Venus moves and goes into the area of the piggy bank, property, the area of basic stuff, resources, not just basic stuff either, beautiful stuff, especially with Venus in here. And it can mean that you may not do too badly in a financial way, or in negotiations, or with getting yourself a bargain. Just feeling as though you're appreciating what you've got around you and what you can tap into, and you and a friend could be very much enjoying what you've got around you and you can tap into as well, because wherever Venus is, it's usually about sharing, it's usually about teaming up. Also, it could be somebody who is helping you to make the most of an asset, or to get a good deal on getting rid of an asset, or getting a good deal on acquiring more of an asset as well. But also there's your own assets that you are born with, and making the most of those, and somebody there could be helping out with that, or just simply being in absolute awe of your assets. But there is this feeling of sharing always wherever Venus is. And then in the last week, might be useful to know that there's likely to be more intensity going on, more involvement, more riding on a situation around a relationship, or indeed finances or property. And feelings could be nearer the surface, your own or others. And something or someone could be bugging you, or somebody else that you're close to, and so you get it indirectly. And so make sure that you're not projecting your emotions onto them, your fears onto them, and try to get the clarity within there. But Venus on Pluto might mean that there's some kind of a breakthrough moment there with a relationship, or with something financial, or with a resource, or with several other things that I can't speculate on here now, but there's that sort of a feeling with it for me. And until the 9th at this moment, and until the 9th, Mars is demanding you put more effort and decisiveness into getting organized in these material ways to do with the piggy bank, and the property, and the material side of life, and the diet, and the exercise, and territory, anything that you're responsible for, anything you'd like to be responsible for, anything you'd like to declutter. It's just being very kind of active and dynamic, and decisive with these things, but being patient sometimes as well, not being hasty, because that's always something to consider wherever Mars is. We might be too hasty in the area of Mars, and letting others push us before we're ready to come down on one side or the other, or whatever. But remember, Mercury and the Sun during this time of Mars here will still be in this inward area, this inward preparation, or this not quite ready to come out with because I don't have all the information at my disposal, and I haven't got all of my I haven't got it all together yet. Then from the 9th, Mars goes into your solar communication sector and will be running parallel with Mercury coming into your sign, and the Sun coming into your sign. So that to me looks like a pretty dynamic time, where if you've played your cards right and got your act together in the background, then things will pick up with a better pace, and it's more up your street, Sagittarius, because you have you're a fire sign, and you like a kind of a more variety and a faster sort of a pace. Sometimes, not all the time. So comings and goings may increase, and you could find yourself very much on the move, or mixing and mingling, or feel that certain others are maybe a bit impatient. There's this impatient thing coming up here because it's Mars, but in general there could be more correspondence or other types of paperwork flying hither and thither, and meetings and maybe things like this going on. But there will be the clarity there now, especially from the 13th onwards, and even more after the 22nd. Saturn, and then the Sun moves into your sign on the 22nd, and that really does bring you more into the present. Saturn has returned to your sign. Well, Saturn has been in your sign for a while now, and will be there until October 2017, and that means through life experience, you will have to take on more responsibility and get more serious about what you need to be doing for yourself to achieve your goals and your ambitions and your dreams and your hopes, and just take all of that more seriously. Things that maybe you've left by the wayside because there wasn't the opportunity or the or the time, really. Now, with Saturn in your sign for the first time in nearly 29 years, it is time to really focus on these targets, because Saturn, remember, is the great builder. So if it's been something you've kind of had a hankering for a long time, then this is the time to build that thing quite literally from the foundations up, whether that's in your within or without. And Jupiter, no, you Sagittarians born the 4th to the 9th of December, or with 13 to 18 degrees rising, feeling that the most at the moment, but the whole sign will be feeling the Saturn vibe, but it gets stronger when it comes near the degree, of course, of when you were born. And of course Jupiter, which I started off at the beginning, means that you should be making friends, you should be connecting with groups, you should be learning through new associations and sharing within a collective, maybe, of others who have interests or a situation in common. So new friends, colleagues, or those with a shared aim or interest, a feeling of kindred spirits. You should be connecting in with them at this time, because that is where you're going to be able to spread your wings the most. That is where you're going to be learning through doing and getting potential, good possibilities for creative potential coming your way. Now, I don't usually mention Uranus, but Uranus for a long time has been in a stunningly good angle to your sun sign, and at the moment it will be affecting people born the 20th, sorry, around about mid-month, just before and on to mid-month, so 20 to 23 degrees rising. And this is where you can redefine yourself. This is where you can find new ways of creative release and creative expression in the world. You should be entrepreneurial. You should be, to make the most of this, here's some choices. To be entrepreneurial. So what you shouldn't have to be anything, but these are some of the ways it can work, is to be entrepreneurial, or is to get into a relationship which is very different to the way, you know, how you imagined it would be in a relationship. It could be you know, a very different member of the opposite sex, or even the same sex, that you hook up with. And then, you know, Uranus being a planet that thrives on change, actually setting down to a regular routine with this person might have some ups and downs. and it could also be related to children and them having ups and downs as well, and you having to be sort of on call there. So there's various different ways, but also a kind of creative collective, or a yeah, like that, is also very much on the cards with this position of Uranus, and there are other things as well. So if you want to look it up, Uranus in your 5th house. Right, so Neptune, well, of course, I've mentioned before, you may have to sacrifice your own style or your own desires or your own plan a little bit about where you're living for a while, but try as best you can to fit in with what the common good is, at the same time as finding your way of being private, your way of your way of feeling as though you can relax into the sanctuary of your space without being interrupted. Or it might be a different sort of a way. It might be that you are trying to create a sanctuary type place, and of course that can have its problems as well. It might not be like that. It might be with family, and you're on hand there for them, which kind of gets in the way of what your goal, what your target had been. So and this is the long transit of Neptune here. And those of you feeling it the most at the moment will probably be born around the 29th of November to the 2nd of December, with 8 to 11 degrees rising. But there is always a way to get the most out of this Neptune transit. You've just got to go within, really, to find it. And that's it for November. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, you can listen to those, and also this material, most of it is written up on DianaGarland.com for November, and I'll see you the next time.